Do you want to create brand messaging that has impact and sticks with your audience? In this video, I'm going to walk you through the process that I use to create brand messaging. Before we get started, I wanted to let you know that you can download the brand messaging template that I use off of my website at brycetufts.com. Go under the resource tab and you'll find it there. The document is an interactive PDF, so you should be able to keep pace with the video and fill out those text boxes as I work through the document, and by the end of it, hopefully have messaging developed for yourself. Let's talk about why messaging is important. Messaging can many times be the difference between someone clicking on your digital ad or not. Today, it's estimated that consumers are intaking hundreds, if not thousands, of ads per day. The average consumer also can't handle all of that noise, so we have to filter out ads that don't apply to us. This is why messaging is so important. Because if we can know the audience that we're trying to reach and we can know what's important to them, we can develop messaging that makes them want to pay attention to the ad. So let's get into the workbook. All right, so if you've downloaded it off the website, you're gonna see something looks like this. If you've been following along with the series so far, you'll know that I am using a helmet company in order to provide context for these documents. So I'll be developing this document around this fictional company, but you can use it in whatever way you need. So if we skip a few pages ahead, we'll see the workbook contents. And this is everything that we're going to go through over the course of this video. So the first thing I like to do when we get started is get everyone who's going to be involved in the process and have them talk a little bit about what their goals are and what they're trying to get out of it. We're all trying to achieve the same thing, but we all might be doing it for slightly different reasons, and it's good to be knowledgeable about what individual person's personal goals are. If we use that kind of transparency, we can work to make sure that everything that we're doing is working for everybody instead of just one person. So in this instance, I'm referring to myself as two different people. I'm going to be Bryce, the marketer, and what I'm looking for is cohesive messaging for the brand to give my team useful information that they can execute on, and I want to have client input on that messaging to make sure that we're going in the right direction. Now, I will also be playing the part of Ted, the client. As the client, I'm going to want to make sure that the brand resonates with my customers, that my team has enough info to produce off of, and that we create an impactful brand. Now lastly, we also like to throw the organization into here. So the organization wants to build a foundation for the brand, it wants the marketing team all on the same page, and it wants a starting point for any copywriting that has to be done in the future. Now we're getting into the first section, defining the voice and tone. So first we need to know the what. And these are going to be words that describe the look and the feel of the brand. So the first thing we're going to do is make a list of words that describe the visuals of the brand that we're going for. Next, we're going to edit that list and we're going to choose the top 5 words that we feel define the brand the best, and then reduce those to the top 3. So you can see that in my process, I've chosen the top 3 words: exotic, seamless, and luxurious. Next up, we're going to talk about the how, and this is the tone, voice, and attitude of the brand that we'd like to have. So in this list, we want to try to use adjectives that describe the tone, voice, and attitude. So you can see that my top 3 that I reduced down to were challenging, articulate, and unyielding. So good creativity has contrast, and brands follow that same pattern. A good way to establish contrast is find 2 things that may not be total opposites, but seem different than each other, and try to pair them together to create something unique. So you can see a couple examples down here, and what I did is I went ahead and I paired the word luxurious with adventure. And my thought process was, when you think luxury, you're thinking of being very comfortable, you're thinking of being in your own space, which is totally the opposite of adventure. You're getting out of your comfort zone, you're doing something new. I want to pair those 2 things together, and I think we can make something special with this brand if we do that. Who do we champion? Who is our brand for? Again, if you've been following along with the series, this section is going to be a little bit easier because we did our customer profiles earlier, but still commit to this process because it's going to be a little bit different than before. So this time we want to make a list and describe different types of people that we feel like our brand represents, and then narrow those down to the top 5 people that we want to represent. So in this final section right here, we want to identify who our primary customer is now, and then later on who we'd like to get more of. If you're a new brand looking to grow, one thing that might be helpful is looking to be one of the extremes on a spectrum. And the reason for that is the people on either end of the spectrum are probably an underserved market who are going to be loyal customers to you if you provide something that helps them. Now, in the middle of the spectrum is usually where the most customers are, but it's also the hardest market to get into because that's where all your competitors are. So a good strategy is to start with the underserved markets, and then as you start to catch on, work your way into the masses. So taking that into consideration, I want to start by targeting identity-focused people. So these are people that the luxury part of this is really going to speak to. And over time, I want that to catch on for people that are weekend warriors. So people who aren't as serious about this lifestyle, but they see other people who are serious about this lifestyle using the product and they start to adopt it. And the next slide is why. What are our beliefs and values? Why are we doing this? So on this slide, we want to create a list of as many beliefs as we can identify. Do not edit yourself here. Drop as many beliefs in as you can. Try to envision this lifestyle, what they're about, what they believe in, what fuels them, what drives their decisions, and just make a big list of as many as you can. So this is an interesting method I learned to help you start the writing process. So years ago, Apple did a campaign that really stuck with audiences and was very effective. And in doing so, they created a formula that we can use today to try to reverse engineer impactful writing. The first thing we want to do is we want to target who we champion, our beliefs and values, the why, and then the why again right at the end. So we're going to take the list that we developed previously, and we're going to move those answers into the placement here and try to create a statement of our own. For my company, I've said, here's to the daredevils, the ones who seek adventure. You can't ignore them because they do their best in everything. While the world sees them in this way, crazy or obsessed, we see them as taking pride in their lives. Because people who are crazy enough to think they can live life to the fullest are the ones who do. Now, this statement isn't meant to be a final piece, but it's definitely meant to get our wheels turning and make us think about how we can adapt this to create some impactful messaging in the future. In this next slide, we can start to see how we're going to do that. So on the left, we're going to take phrases from the why list we developed earlier and filter them through the statement that we just created to create new messaging. By starting with values that are important to the audience and then filtering them through what makes our company special, we'll be able to create some really impactful messaging that speaks to the audience. So as you can see here, I've taken quality over price and I've turned that to you deserve the best. I've taken thrill seeking and said see the world through the right lens. Do your best in everything has become you work hard, so should your helmet. Don't waste your life has become less than perfect doesn't belong on the road. And built to last is quality lasts. And keep in mind, these might not be final, but we can do tweaking later when we're developing. For now, this is going to give us a good starting point. In this next slide, I want to draw attention to the copywriting formula. So this is referred to as the AIDA formula, and that stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. As you can see, this formula works as a funnel, finding people that are willing to do the action you want them to take, whether that's buying your product, service, or interacting with your company is hard. The first thing that you're going to want to do is capture attention. And that's going to be a large group of people. But out of the people that you capture the attention of, only a fraction of those are going to have any interest in what you're trying to offer. And out of those, only a fraction of those are going to have any desire to actually purchase. And out of the people that have a desire to purchase, a small fraction are going to be able to actually take that action. That's the way that people flow. So if you want to find people that are willing to take action, you have to create a funnel to get them there. So first off, focus on getting their attention. Hook them with something interesting. Next, inspire interest. Give them a problem that they've been trying to solve. And then that can lead to desire. Give them a solution to that problem that they've been trying to solve. And if they're really interested in solving that problem, they'll take action and purchase your product, service, or whatever you're doing that's going to benefit them. At the end here is just an extra section to help you orient yourself with these attributes that you've been talking about, and I'll show you how that works. So this is called a brand attribute scale. And what we want to do here is we want to find two attributes that are opposed to each other and find out where our brand lies on that spectrum. So you can see here, for number one, I've put price versus quality. And of course, we're at number 10, we're all about quality. Our customers will not care about price. Next up, we've done utility versus luxury. We're landing pretty close to the middle. It is a helmet, so it is going to have some sort of utility, but we're leaning towards luxury. Next up is utility versus beauty, and we're here to design a truly beautiful product, not one that just delivers on what it needs to. So we're going to lean more towards beauty. And lastly, I've pitted adventure versus luxury and landed right in the middle of the two. And really, I think this is what makes this specific brand special, is that it has that balancing act between the two. And I want people to know that and to visually be able to see it on the spectrum. Congratulations, we have now finished the brand messaging workbook. If you've been following along on your own, chances are you probably have some impactful messaging that you've developed yourself, or at least gotten some ideas to get you started. If this video was helpful to you, please like it. If you have any questions about brand development, leave them in a comment below. I'll be developing new videos in the future, and your questions can help me understand what you need to know. Like I mentioned, I have a library of free resources on my website, brycetufts.com. Go to the resources tab, be able to find workbooks, worksheets, guides, things to help you along your brand journey. This is also part 4 in a video series where I'll be developing this helmet brand from the ground up and giving you free resources along the way. So if you'd like to keep watching these videos, subscribe to the channel. And thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.